Have you ever had the sinking feeling that major political and cultural shifts are calculated moves by an elite rather than random accidents of history? Analysis of the last 2 centuries reveals that the defining shifts in our global landscape have often been the deliberate, engineered results of an unseen coordination. This coordination stems from a secretive ruling class known as the Committee of 300. Today, on the Bookish Breakdown, we begin part 1 of an 8-part series, investigating the structure and objectives of this parallel power. Identifying this group provides a framework for understanding why global events frequently move in directions the public never requested. The foundation of this investigation lies in the work of Dr. John Coleman, a former professional intelligence officer. Coleman's career path provided him with routine access to highly classified documents and raw intelligence data. His findings launched a 25-year investigation into a global elite that dictates the course of history from behind the scenes. This group operates as a supranational government, recognizing no national boundaries and ignoring the laws of individual sovereign states. These claims are built on the internal records and operational analysis Coleman conducted during his service as a trained intelligence operative. This landscape shows Luanda, Angola, where Coleman was deployed as an intelligence officer. Here, he encountered data that completely changed his understanding of geopolitical conflict. Coleman was working amidst groups like these UNITA supporters, operating under the belief that his mission was to counteract communist expansion in African nations. During this deployment, he was granted access to a series of documents classified above the standard top-secret level. As Coleman reviewed these files, he recognized a sharp contradiction between his stated military goals and the actual strategic objectives detailed in the text. The documents revealed that his efforts were being used to facilitate the introduction of socialist regimes, the very outcome he believed he was there to prevent. These intelligence files identified the ultimate architect of this strategy as a supranational group known in professional circles as the Olympians. These records suggested that localized political conflicts could be utilized as functional theater to mask the long-term implementation of the Olympians' global agenda. To understand this group, we have to look past the symbols of secret societies. Coleman notes that the Committee of 300 does not rely on handshakes or basement meetings. The 300 members do not hold elected office, they do not campaign for public support, and they never ask for a vote. Instead, they embed themselves within existing institutions. This node of influence operates directly out of the White House. Their reach extends through the legislative halls of the U.S. Capitol. Their operational map includes the highest seats of European executive power, such as No. 10 Downing Street, and it integrates into the legislative structure of the Houses of Parliament. Power at this level does not reset with a democratic election. It is designed to accumulate across generations through networks of private ownership and institutional access. The committee functions by hiding in plain view, utilizing the democratic structures of government to advance objectives the public never authorized. Controlling a global population of billions with only 300 people presents a significant logistical hurdle. The committee overcomes this by prioritizing weaponized psychological warfare over traditional military force. This diagram shows a baseline of psychological stability. When interrupted by a massive disruption, it's called a future shock. By forcing rapid consecutive crises, the shadow government bypasses the population's rational decision-making. The intended result is a cognitive breakdown. By overloading the human mind with more information and trauma than it can process, the population's mental resilience is exhausted. This tactic seeks to degrade public autonomy until the population simply stops resisting new realities imposed upon them. The first phase involves placing the civilian population under a state of constant, inescapable stress, delivered through endless news cycles, that emphasize violence and the rapid acceleration of societal changes. When individuals cannot reconcile the volume of trauma they are witnessing, the result is a widespread psychological paralysis. This state of severe inner conflict leaves the public unable to navigate or address the chaos surrounding them. This paralysis eventually transitions into a state of profound and absolute apathy. In this phase, citizens turn away from the very crises affecting them and abandon their role in the political process. Once this apathy takes root, the shadow government can implement policies and structural changes that the public simply accepts as inevitable. Global political apathy is a highly engineered state of docility, specifically designed to make modern populations easy to govern without force. To verify these claims, we can look at specific historical data that corroborates Coleman's insider knowledge. In July of 1986, Coleman published a report detailing the inner workings of the U.S. intelligence community. He identified a top-level organization called the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO, and claimed it possessed power far exceeding that of the CIA. The NRO is the agency responsible for the design, construction, and operation of intelligence-gathering satellites. This aerial view shows the massive NRO headquarters. Coleman published their exact physical address years before the public was supposed to know the organization existed. Years after Coleman's report, primetime news anchors presented this same information as a major investigative scoop, unaware that the data had already been leaked by an intelligence insider. This public confirmation validates the accuracy of Coleman's intelligence and the credibility of his broader investigation into the Committee of 300. Examining this structure reveals the ultimate objective of this invisible government. They are working toward a neo-feudal system, where a small elite rules over a completely dependent and controlled global population. Coleman presents these findings as a call to awareness, detailing how the shadow government relies on our collective distraction. Their operational success depends entirely on public ignorance and the apathy generated by the future shock. Identifying the sources of engineered crises breaks the psychological spell and neutralizes the primary weapon used against the civilian population. By understanding the hidden handlers behind political leaders, we can begin to reclaim our individual sovereignty. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the Bookish Breakdown as we prepare for part 2 of this series.